to the Cubans.
to make it
And he had a plan for escaping and almost pulled it off.
So this is a challenge I always give my liberal friends. Come to DC, name a screwed up sector of the economy, and I'll show you the big marble building where they screw it up.
Exactly. Oh, nice. Justin, you gonna say something, man?
In his own mind, he was, you know, like a Cuban.
I'm the Federal Reserve!
He thought he would do it. He would escape to Cuba. He would be a national hero. Get away with it. And
I got it, man. It's all on record.
I found a newspaper article.
It's on your permanent
assassination. A newspaper article where it quotes Castro as saying somebody needs to take these Kennedy brothers out.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Which was withheld.
Do you not have a script on this one?
They also
Justin.
Hoover, signed by J. Edgar Hoover.
This creepy building
and this
is what was called the Federal Reserve. It is the banker's bank, or the central bank for America. Now, why would this ever be created to begin with, one might ask?
Why?
Well, after the Civil War, which we just witnessed the monument to Abraham Lincoln, during the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln needed a way to fund his massive adventure, and he transformed the banking system through a series of regulations which confiscated all the gold that used to be held in the banks. And the regulations, which were meant for wartime financing, persisted after the war ended. And this severely restricted the ability of the economic system of the banks to adjust to the needs of the economy. And so you get these very seasonal panics and crises. And due to these crises of a previous regulations and interventions, created the need for more interventions and regulations, which led to the creation of this bureaucracy. Now, the main proponents of the Federal Reserve were oftentimes in New York City and tied to Wall Street and directly profited from the creation. And so it's hard to decide whether they were purely, as one might say, Baptists and believing in the need, or whether they were just profiting from it directly.
AKA bootleggers.
Bootleggers and Baptists. So Paul Warburg believed that America needed its own central bank, just like Germany or Sweden or England. And he came up with an idea, but America was different. He wanted to make a decentralized central bank where there were 12 regional banks. And over the period between 1910 and 1913, they drafted the plan, and it was eventually passed. And they sent out a massive propaganda to show that it was the Midwest farmers and the little people who wanted it, when it was actually, you know, the Wall Street bankers. And so after it was passed, I'm not saying there was any tie, but very conveniently it was right before World War I. And it helped fund the adventures of World War I. And then after that, they normalized their policy in pursuit of price stability, monetary policy in the 20s. You may have heard of this term, the Roaring Twenties. Well, it's true there was a lot of economic innovation during this period, but the interest rates were held too low. So when the economy is growing, there's more supply of goods. The price stayed constant, but you had a boom in asset prices. And so just like in the 2000s to 2008 period, there was a booming economy and real asset prices, even though there's no price inflation. And so there was this notion that if you kept prices stable, the economy would be stable. But time and time again, in the Federal Reserve's history, this proved to be false. And so during under the overwatch of the Federal Reserve, the economy experienced many bouts of depression and inflation and funding massive wars that would not have been able to be funded without the ability to print the money and confiscate it indirectly through inflation. And so this was a disastrous institution for the reasons that it was both able to fund these wars, and also because it was so economically destructive, and it led to high periods of unemployment. and economic instability. So if this is your first time seeing this building, or you're never were sure what it was exactly, now you know the brief history. Thank you.